like a battery. I'm staying charged on my feet, I'm like a factory.
How you doing, guys? Welcome to ZukaTube, and today I'm going to be reviewing Outer Range Season 1. Now, this just came out on Amazon Prime. It's 8 episodes long. They're about 50-minute episodes, you know, the typical thing. It started April 15th of this year, and I'm going to give you the summary, right? It basically says, the Abbotts are coping with the disappearance of their daughter-in-law when neighboring Tillersons make a play for their ranch land. Tension comes to a head when a mysterious black void arrives in the Abbotts' pasture. Now, I'm going to play the trailer. I'm going to do a little bit of breakdown stuff. I'll play a couple clips and talk a little bit about it, give you my review, and then I'll do spoilers at the end afterwards. I'm excited to talk about a couple things in this, and it's another kind of interesting show. I know I was interested in talking a bit about From. There's quite a bit of differences, and I don't feel at all the same way necessarily about this show as I did From, but I'll get into that a bit. Let me just start with this trailer right away.
This land, this family.
This land,
Kinda like a
family.
dream to me.
It's got Josh Brolin in it as the main guy.
Figured one day I'd wake up.
I'm looking for
Looked
the
like a
Outer
very
Range.
Western thriller when I watched this trailer, so I was
No,
like,
stuck in a
okay.
camp. Only be a few days. Autumn.
Up some hippie chick trying to
That's fine.
camp on his land.
Why are you here?
You see that? I've been drawing it for years, and now I see it all over the place here.
You stay away from her, you understand?
Dun, dun,
And that goes for
dun.
everyone.
I want that land.
The mysterious void on the property. That's the other family that's trying to get the property.
There's something out there.
What is this, Royal?
I don't know what it is.
This will just be our
I don't know what it is.
I want your west pasture because I want your west pasture.
My west.
You tell me.
Something's happening here. Something bigger than you and me. And the world's been waiting for something like this.
There'll be no strings to bind your hand.
You ever wonder if the world
They do a good job summarizing
No law.
things in the
Order.
description and the
Just
trailer.
chaos all the way down.
Very weird show. Definitely a lot of things to think about. A lot of theories to have.
Just call me angel of the morning, angel.
What a weird character.
Can you quit it?
Just call me angel of the morning, angel. Just touch my cheek before you leave me.
Yeah, so very, very bizarre trailer, but very much goes along with the summary, I feel, pretty well. And obviously you don't really know which people are the Abbott family and the Tillerson family, but the Tillerson family are the opposing family to the Abbotts, which is the family of Royal, who is played by, Josh Brolin, who's the main character, right? And basically, in the beginning of the show, you see the tension between the families. Royal's family is grieving over the loss of his daughter-in-law, which is his son's wife, right? And there's a bunch of weird stuff going on in the town, and it's a very rural area. And it's just very interesting to see the weird, spooky kind of paranormal stuff that's potentially happening here. And as it starts to get laid out, you kind of get a bunch of directions you can go in right in the beginning. And it's interesting to see shows like this because you get a lot of opportunities to discuss and theorize as it goes until they obviously unveil a major like plot point, right? Now, it's not like the most action-packed show. There's some action. It's mostly kind of a thriller, kind of show with that kind of Western backdrop, right? The characters are very cool. The Abbott family and the Tillerson family are both very interesting and similar, but yet very different. And basically, right in the beginning of this show, there's some tension that leads to a potential death with one of the opposing family, and Royal does something that he basically shouldn't do, and it kind of starts testing this hole in the ground that he finds right on his land, and things come back to bite him, and some other things start unfolding that are pretty wild throughout the town, and he's trying to protect his family, protect his land, and also kind of investigate this looming mystery and other mysteries that may all be connected, as well as certain other characters. You know, the other family is also trying to investigate some things, and everybody's got their own kind of opinion and drive, you know, for whatever they're doing on this show. Now, I do got to say there's a lot of stuff that you will get kind of potentially lost with in this show. There's some weird things, but that may or may not get answered. Like, I'll give you a random example of some weird stuff that happens on this show where you're like, what in the hell was that, right? So here, check this out. Like, what the hell is that?
Mastodon.
The mountains just disappear. Like, he shakes her hand, mountains disappear, stops shaking her hand, mountains reappear. What in the hell is that? And there's a thing on her necklace that moves around, and you're like, what the? So, and there's little things that happen throughout that you're like, okay, so obviously everything's got to be connected, but you don't know how, you don't know what for, or the origin of it necessarily. And you're kind of continuously asking that throughout as certain clues start to pop up, right? And there's a weird amount of, I don't know, kind of off-putting situations and some weird dry humor throughout that's kind of interesting. Sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. But like, oh my goodness, right? Okay, so the one the one son, Billy, right? He's part of the Tillerson family, and when there's a death in the family, this guy sings all the time, and he's really, really weird. But let me just play this clip. Like, he's just singing all the time. And sometimes they hint that maybe this guy's like a little off, but then sometimes they just kind of show him as like a kind of disconnected from everybody weird dude. Don't give up, 'cause you have friends. Like, what in the hell is going on in this damn show? It is so bizarre. With that being said, I'm going to just give you my flat out review here. I'm going to give this like a 6.5 out of 10. And like, it introduces a lot of interesting stuff. There's some great stuff to theorize and to talk about. A lot of cool kind of spooky type scenarios that play out. The effects are fairly decent. The acting's pretty good and everything like that. But there's a lot of stuff that falls short. And I would say that this is a show that kind of trails off a lot. They throw some kind of like woke stuff in your face randomly, like 2/3 of the way into this show, and it's just eye gouging, like you want to throw up. And it's okay. So basically, there's this one character, Joy, great character. She's kind of this old rugged chick. She's like the sheriff. She's applying to be the full-time sheriff. And she's investigating all this stuff that's happening. And she's kind of a rough and tough lady. And she's Native American. And she's kind of like, she fits in with everybody. She bullshits with everybody. And she's a hard ass, right? And then randomly, like, they show her being such a good, powerful, like, interesting character throughout. And that she's like, you're so interested in her in this case. And then they randomly just chime over and throw in your face, oh, this is her wife and daughter who she's bringing to church, and the wife is consistently upset and throwing in her face the issue of, you know, trying to be in this community when they're a gay couple. And, first off, if you're a gay couple in a small town, what in the hell would you think that any traditional church is going to, I don't know, affirm you and prop you up and say, you know what, this has been a thing in church writing and our ways for, a couple thousand years. But hey, like, you have decided we're gonna burn everything down and rewrite everything. Like, obviously that's not gonna happen, and people need to find their own set communities and everybody finds their way to fit in with these communities, obviously, but you can't expect it in actual church, in practice. Like, it's a joke. If you went anywhere in the world, go to a mosque somewhere, somewhere else in the world, I don't know how well that would go over anywhere. But they do a lot of moments, like, right away of that, like, in a short span, that are just, like, eye gouging. And it's so annoying. But other than that, I mean, Joy's a fantastic character. So it's a real bummer, and you really lose interest, and things fizzle out for that character because of it. And there's some other stuff that trails off that's really weird throughout the show that it kind of drags a bit. But other than that, they had a lot of interesting stuff they've been putting out. And I do want to tune into the next season because I am interested to see if the stuff develops and flourishes in an interesting way, and they keep that really cool paranormal Western thriller kind of aspect in there. With that being said, a 6.5 out of 10. Let's get right into these spoilers here. Spoilers. Boom, 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 ba-doom, ba-doom. Okay, so I have a couple things to say that they kind of do at the end of this whole show here. A couple things. They show that Autumn, the hippie chick that shows up, was the little girl Amy, the granddaughter of Royal, the whole time. They also show that, Amy's mom is back, and maybe she's been potentially helping Autumn. That's kind of an interesting thing. I got another question, like, what happened with Perry, the son of Royal, when he jumps in the hole? Does he go 3 years into the future like when Royal did? I mean, what happens from there with him? And who else in the town or whatever have experienced this or maybe time travelers, right? You see a bunch of buffalo come out of a hole dug by Luke, searching for the hole when it disappears, right? Like, does my man get trampled and die? Is it like an illusion, a vision? Like, Joy, she sees a bunch of the buffalo and tribes attacking them. Like, was it a vision of the past? Did they come through to the present? Is she in the past? What's going on with that? Royal apparently is from the 1800s, and after killing his own father and running from home, he jumped in the hole as a kid in the 1880s and comes out in the 1960s. So, like, what happened to Royal's family and his descendants? Were they still there? Did they move from there? Did they die off? I mean, he has had a sister and a mom, so I'm interested to see what happens with that. I mean, there's a lot of good questions that I want to see play out and that they could end up doing really well, but there was a lot of stuff that really bothered me with this show and that really drags. And with that being said, again, I'm going to give this a 6.5, but if you are interested in these kind of like Western thriller types or just kind of weird thrillers in general and like paranormal type stuff and like, I don't know, just like it's interesting. Let me know what you think. Either way, Outer Range, Amazon Prime, Zukatsu.
Feel like they tracking me. Yo, let me get on one. Not gonna get your tracks up. Homie, can I steal some? Homie, you can't stack up. My brother, can you shout me? You're barking up the wrong tree. My dog, why do you doubt me? Cause you can't do shit without me.
Real like the radio and never play it, but that's cool. The enemy's supposed to hate it.